That's right, Aaron. It was this house where police and first responders found 16-year-old Justin Blackshear with multiple gunshot wounds. Planning and zoning experts also say that the light will add a pedestrian walkway to make it easier for people to cross the road. That's right, Aaron. You may remember a couple of weeks ago we spoke to Commissioner Joe Allen about the ordinance he sponsored that will help county employees. Experts with the Bibb County Sheriff's Office say that guns leave unique indentations on shell casings, a lot like fingerprints on people. Nicole, right where I'm standing is the Macon, Bibb, and Houston County line. What stood behind me? The welcome sign to Macon. Now it's gone due to a recent accident. The mayor said this ordinance will be brought up again at the next commission meeting, and if at least 6 commissioners are in favor, they can override this veto. Now with new technology, experts are able to compare evidence from crime scenes here in Macon to others across the country. Now the investigation has been turned over to Peachtree Recovery Services.
Sheriff David Davis says the office's crime lab now has new ballistics technology that'll help link criminals to crimes faster than before.
What this does is takes firearms, shell casings, and firearms from incidents all across the country and puts them in a searchable database.
Sheriff Davis says his department had to ship evidence off to the ATF crime lab in Atlanta for testing before they launched this new database in their office. Another official said the results used to take around 2 weeks to come back, and now they can get results back within 48 hours. The chief of the criminal division of the U.S. Attorney's Office says the money for the technology comes from a private grant.
That grant was at approximately $200,000 for this particular machine, so it's an expensive piece of equipment, but it is a money well worth the expense because of the lives that this type of technology can save.
The coordinator for the Macon Bibb Crime Lab showed us how this program works.
We're looking for distinct marks and basically unique impressions each gun leaves on the back of these shell casings.
Macon resident Tanisha Singleton says she lost a family member in the Green Meadow shooting last month. She says she hopes this new technology will help bring justice to future cases. However, deputies say they cannot disclose if this technology will be used on her specific case.
At this point, you don't know who's the killer. You don't know. They could be visibly walking around out here right now. We don't know. And with that ballistic testing, if I can get that done quick, then that gives me the relief to know, okay, well, they're going to do this testing. This person is going to be fine.
Commissioner Allen says he always tries to fight for what's right, especially when it comes to those who work hard for the county.
Well, we knew there was no way to give raises this year. We knew that.
So he sponsored an ordinance that would give county employees who have worked at least 30 days in their job an extra $1,000 paycheck in December. Most of the Macon Bibb commissioners supported this, but Wednesday, Mayor Rickert vetoed the ordinance.
We have not had a general across-the-board pay raise really since consolidation and the implementation of the pay scale for all of the employees.
He says he wants to make sure county employees are paid fairly, but that this isn't the way to do it.
Take money away from the reserves, it's kind of like taking it out of your savings account and moving it into your checking account to buy something, a one-time trip to the Bahamas. Well, that's really great, that's really wonderful, but a one-time trip to the Bahamas and now the money's gone.
Mayor Rickert says as of now, they have enough reserves to operate about 10 days, when they really should have enough for 45 days. In a letter to commissioners announcing this veto, Mayor Rickert says, spending this money now hampers our ability to give them raises that will benefit them for years, not just once. Commissioner Allen says he won't give up.
He can veto all he wants. I think I got 8 members now. But the bottom line is, you can't go out of office on the backs of the employees trying to save money to have a general fund when you're working off the backs of the employees who's out here doing the job for the general public.
Nurse Mary Jones with the Medical Center Navicent Health says her team responds to calls from other hospitals to pick up children in critical condition. Navicent's pediatric ambulances may look like bigger versions of normal ambulances, but Jones says it's a little more complex than that.
It's like a hospital on wheels, and as a matter of fact, that's what I tell patients or parents when I'm getting consent for transport is, we bring the hospital to you.
A nurse, a respiratory therapist, and an advanced EMT make up the transport team.
Any procedure that can be done just about in the hospital, we can just about do in the back of the ambulance in order to stabilize and get them back to the intensive care nursery.
Hospital officials say their fleet takes critically ill patients from hospitals across the state to their Beverly Knight Olson Children's Hospital that's equipped for handling critical cases. Pediatric Dr. Stephen Tomick says by the time the patients arrive at the hospital, their team has already begun the patient's treatment.
The providers that go, including respiratory therapists, nurses, are very skilled. They're all involved on a day-to-day basis in caring for the patients that are currently in our ICU, and they are essentially an extension of our ICU.
Advanced EMT John Rader says his sole responsibility is to be a support system for the team.
Help load the patient up, make sure that everything that they have, that they need is there, make sure everything is working properly with the ambulance, and just make sure everything's functioning correctly.
Doctors say when those critically ill patients reach the hospital doors, the team is more prepared thanks to these specially equipped ambulances. Reporting for WGXA News, I'm Jenna Maddox.